I just wanted to make a video today about some things that have happened to me in my life. Have you ever had a dream that came true, or a premonition, or something supernatural happened to you? I'm just going to give you a couple examples of some things that have happened in my life. And these are true and accurate depictions of some events that have happened in my life. The first is what happened was I sold a watch on the internet to a gentleman, and it was a forum called Time Zone, and it's still around, but it's basically where you can sell, fine Swiss timepieces and various other, timepieces. And I remember I sold a fine Swiss timepiece, and I was waiting for the check to arrive, and it was going to arrive by either the United States Postal Service or by UPS. I don't remember that, but what I do remember is I fell asleep on the couch while I was waiting for the check to arrive. I knew that it was going to arrive because you can check and see, where it's at, and I checked on the internet, and it said that it was on its way to be delivered. So somehow, some way, I fell asleep on the couch, and the couch was not very far from the front door to where they were going to knock or ring the doorbell. So like I said, I don't know how or why or whatever, but I fell asleep on the couch, and I remember that I had my legs draped across the couch, and my upper body was laying on the couch, and my legs were stretched over, the top of the couch where you basically rest your arms. But to make a long story short, so I fell asleep, and I was dreaming, and in my dream, I dreamt that. Okay, in my dream, the doorbell rang, and it was a person with a check, the check that I've been waiting on. So I signed for it, and I received the check, and I opened it up, and in my dream, the check was basically illegible. It looked like somebody wrote it who had extreme Parkinson's, and you really couldn't tell, you couldn't make out a lot of the details on the check. I mean, it was a legitimate check, but, the date, the amount, the signature, all that was basically illegible because of the shakiness of the person that wrote it. So what I did was, in my dream, I called the bank, and I told them my situation, and they told me that I would basically just have to bring it down, that they need to look at it and check it out. So I brought it down there, and they looked at it, and they brought a manager and everybody to look at it, and they basically told me that unfortunately they cannot take this check because it is so illegible, that they just couldn't take the check. So, I had to end up calling the gentleman, and we had to work out another payment arrangement. But as soon as that happened in my dream, the next thing you know, I hear a knock on the door, and I hear somebody ringing the doorbell. And lo and behold, it is, the person that is delivering the check. So I sign for it, open up the door, sign for it, I open it up, and it is the check. And I look at the check, and the check is basically illegible just like in my dreams. And so what I did was, just like in my dreams, I called the bank. The bank said that I would have to bring it down. I brought it down. They looked at it. They got a manager to look at it. And they said, unfortunately, that they would not be able to take the check because it was so illegible. Now, this is a true and factual event that happened to me. I mean, I fell asleep waiting on this check to be delivered. And I was dreaming all this. And within I'm just saying, it was like within a snap, I hear the doorbell ringing and everything. So that is a 100% true, accurate statement of something that happened to me in my dreams. And then this is another factual event that happened to me. First off, I was managing a store. I'm just going to say I was managing a store, and I was having dreams. They started out to where basically I was having dreams about being robbed, armed robbery, and basically being killed. Just very bad things happening to me. And I talked to the owner of the store, and the owner of the store did not have security cameras. And I kept on asking the owner about security cameras, and if maybe he could get some security cameras, and why he didn't have security cameras. But to make a long story short, he was the owner, I was the manager. And this, he had this establishment for at least 20 years before I got there. So, I was having dreams, and what it was, I had dreams that went on for months, and they became more frequent. And in my dreams, I was getting robbed. I was getting shot at, at the store where I was managing, I did have access to a weapon, a handgun, and a holster, and I never actually put it on. I never put it on my body, but I'll tell you a story that happened. They became so frequent. It started out basically I had these dreams months at a time. It was, I had a dream, say months went by, and then they got more frequent. I had a dream, dreams, weekly and then daily. So it started out, like a month at a, I don't know how to explain it, but they became more frequent and more vivid. And, finally one day after having this horrible nightmare, it was like something that told me, today is the day. It's going to happen today. And I didn't want to go into work, but I had to open up the store. And I'm just saying, the owner was coming in. I knew the owner was coming in late because he was spending time with his family and his children. So to make a long story short, I drive and I start opening up the store. I start putting out the merchandise. But one of the first things I do is, for the first time, I've been having these dreams for months, but for the first time, I actually put the holster on my body, and I put the gun in the holster. It is on me for the first time. It's like I just knew something was going to happen today. And so I start putting out the merchandise, and the place where I was managing, basically it was like a horseshoe. Basically, if you think of like a horseshoe, I had to put the merchandise out around this horseshoe area, and everything behind the horseshoe I could barely fit in around the showcases. And behind the showcases was just basically brick. It was a brick wall it had windows, but it had iron steel bars over the window, so I could not escape from around that horseshoe area. And the last showcase was basically, it was the sterling silver showcase, and it was the cheapest showcase in that area. So I start putting out the merchandise or whatever, and then a mutual friend of ours, the owner's and mine, comes in. And I was basically standing at the last showcase that was facing towards the main door that everybody enters and exits. And so I was putting out the sterling silver in that showcase, and I was talking to the mutual friend of ours about fine Swiss timepieces, and next thing you know, I look up, and well, actually, let me rewind back. I'm sorry, I forgot something. Before the mutual friend came in, about 10 minutes before that happened, there was a white male that came in, and he was by himself, and I was in that area. In that area that I told you about, the horseshoe shaped. But basically, I was standing to where behind me was the safe. We had this big old safe that was, that we held the merchandise in until we put it out in the showcases, and we held the excess merchandise in there. And he came in through the front door, and he was by himself. But like I said, for the first time, I had the holster and the gun on me. And this person started asking when the owner was going to be coming in, and I told him that the owner was spending time with his family and that he would be in a little bit later. And so thinking back, I believe this person was casing out the store to see if I was alone. And I truly do believe that. And this person, I would say, saw the gun on my body. It was, I made sure that it was within sight to where somebody could see it. So this person left. And then the mutual friend came in, and I was putting the merchandise out in that showcase that was directly in front of the door that everybody enters and exits. So the mutual friend was to my right, and directly in front of me, probably about no more than 20 feet, I would say roughly approximately 20 feet in front was that door. And I looked up, and I saw someone at the door. Actually, there was two people. There was they looked like two males, but they were both dressed in black ski mask, black shirt, black gloves, black pants, and black shoes. And one of them had a gun in the hand. One of them, I saw the gun, and the other one was actually loading the gun at the front door. This person was putting bullets in the gun at the front door. And like I said, I had the gun on me. I had, the gun was, I made sure that it was loaded, and I made sure that it was ready to go before I put in the holster and everything. And like I said, the mutual friend of ours was to the right of me, and all I had time to do was yell out his name. I yelled out his name a couple times really loud, and then I moved to my left, and I had these shoes on. They were dress shoes, and they had like slick soles. They weren't like any tennis shoes or anything like that. They were dress shoes. And I moved to my left really quick, and the person that had the gun already loaded just pushed open the door like you see in the movies and just started shooting at me. He was firing his gun at me. This person shot through a concrete pillar, shot through a desktop computer, and shot through the swinging doors that I ran through into the back. I ran into the back where we kept our pawn merchandise, where the owner had his office, and I actually hid in a closet, like a broom closet. And this broom closet was so small I could barely fit in there. And this broom closet had a door. It was just a door, and it had, like where the locks were in the door, the holes that were drilled out for the locks, for the regular, the key lock at the bottom and the deadbolt lock at the top. It was drilled out. There was no locks there. So, So this person could have easily just opened up the door and shot and killed me. There was another, how do I explain this? If you come in through the front door, you could go to your right, and then you could make a left, and you could come in, like basically this is where the employees would come in and out of, back of the showcases and, etc. So, I mean, this person literally could have came in through that way and basically been right in front of that closet where I was hiding, and I had my gun in there. I was trying to, it was dark in there. I was pulling out the gun. I was trying to cock it. I was trying to, I mean, I never shot the gun. In the past, the owner never showed me how to use the gun. I was just, I was in my early 20s, very early 20s, and I was thinking to myself, I cannot believe I'm going to die right now. I cannot believe I'm going to die right now. It happened so suddenly and so quick, even though I was having these dreams for months at a time, and they became more frequent and more vivid. Even though I had the gun on me, if I would have pulled that gun, it happened so quick and so fast that if I would have pulled out my gun and stood there and tried to shoot at them before they shot at me, they would have shot me and they would have killed me. That's what they wanted to do. I have no doubt in my mind that they wanted to surprise me, and they wanted to shoot me and kill me and take whatever merchandise was in there, because there was a multi-million dollars worth of inventory. And, I believe the person that came in earlier cased it out, went and told these people about it, and they just wanted to come in there, shoot me, kill me, and take whatever they wanted and leave. This was before the owners, the friend of mine and the owner's friend, the mutual friend of ours, came in. And to make a long story short, I was hiding in that closet or whatever, and I was thinking to myself, I cannot believe I'm going to die right now. I cannot believe I'm going to die right now. I cannot believe this is happening. And like I said, they could have easily they didn't even have to open up the door. They could have they could have just shot in that broom closet and would have killed me. If they would have opened it up, I would have had nowhere to go. It was so small in there, and it was dark, and there was no light, and there was no locks on the doors, and now remember, our mutual friend is still out there, so I waited, and I waited for about 10 minutes in there. I mean, I couldn't tell what time it is or nothing. I waited for about 10 minutes, and, nothing happened. So I eventually got out of the closet, and I went to go and see if everything, I mean, this was before cell phones, and I had no phone on me. So, I mean, like I said, they could have been waiting for me out there. They could have been waiting for me just to come out, and then could have shot me dead. You're talking about, post-traumatic stress disorder, whatever. I hate to use that term or whatever, but I've had flashbacks about that happening. I was, because whenever this happened, supposedly these people all they got away with was one of the cheapest trays of sterling silver jewelry in the whole entire store. And they left, and they ran across the highway, or not the highway, but it was, they ran across the roads that were, around where the store was. And to this day, I do not know if they got caught or not. But from what, years and years ago, I believe I was told that they never caught these people. There was two males, and they, like I said, they were both dressed in black ski mask, like a black sweatshirt, like black sweatpants, black gloves, black shoes, and one had their gun. One had their gun already loaded, and the other one was loading their gun at the front of the door. And I saw them before they could. Well, obviously they saw me first, but I saw them, and oh my gosh! Like I said, I yelled out my friend's name a couple times that was standing to my right, and I just moved to my left as fast as I could. And like I said, I had my gun on me, but if I would have pulled it, it was just like in the movies. They just pushed open the door and started shooting at me. And from what I found out later on, they used a 38 special with no shell casings. I think that's what it was. Now, don't hold me to it because, I was totally in shock. And like I said, even to this day, I have flashbacks of what happened. And after that, when I was leaving the store and when I was driving down the road and everything, and, I was thinking about, because I didn't know who these people were. I didn't see their face. All I saw, because they were wearing black ski masks, I didn't know who they were. I was terrified. And, like I said, it was just, and then the owner came in and, the owner was, kind of upset because, he asked me if I shot him or if I killed him or whatever. I didn't have time to do anything. You know what I'm saying? I had no time to do anything whatsoever. All I had time to do, it was either fight or flight. If I would have pulled out my gun and stood my ground, they would have just pushed up the door and started shooting me. I was just a target that was right in front of them within like 20 feet, I would say. So, like I said, but these are two examples that I had of dreams that I have had in my life that have came true. And if you call them premonitions, these are 100% true. So I just wanted to make a video about this today. But I'm just saying I'm here for a reason. That's all I know. I believe that if, our purpose is gone, that, we will no longer be, on this world or in this world. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, a lot of things have happened in my life, and you can look back, you can check my other videos, because I've made videos about other things that have happened. And, but that was the scariest that I have ever, that's the scariest event that I've ever been through. And I've been through some more events that are scary, but that has to be the scariest because, like I said, I was in my early 20s and I was having these dreams, and they became more frequent and more frequent until the day that it happened. I knew that I had to walk in there, and I knew that I had to put on that on that holster, and I knew I had to put that gun on me. That was the first time that I ever did that, and that was the day that it happened. Just showing up to work for that day took all that I had, because I was walking into that store alone. I knew I was going to be alone, and I knew I was having these dreams, and I knew this was going to happen, but yet I still showed up. And but I thank God, the great architect of the universe. Father God, in Jesus' name, I thank you for protecting me and keeping me safe. I will be the first to tell you I am an imperfect sinner, and I've never claimed and will claim to ever be. I am an imperfect sinner, and I ask Father God in Jesus' name to please forgive me of my sins. I do, because, anything like that can happen in a split second. And that's what I'm saying. Imagine being in your early 20s, and hiding in a broom closet and knowing that, at any moment they could come in there and just, shoot through the door, open the door and shoot you and kill you. You're walking out. Like I said, I didn't have a cell phone on me. No one came in there to get me. I ended up walking out, and, they could have been waiting for me right there and just shot and killed me. To this day, I still don't know if they caught the people. I do know that this business still has... Sorry, I think I've got a call. I'm gonna stop it. Sorry. I'm gonna keep on. Well, I'm gonna end this video. So, but like I was saying, imagine being, in your early 20s and this happening to you and seeing your life flash before you. It was the scariest thing that I've ever been through. And I've been through other scary events, but this is the scariest. So I just wanted to make this video